Hey, what's up guys, aarava here and welcome back to a brand new video here today for some more F1 2019 game ideas. We've got a further 10 ideas to talk about. Some of these from the comments below of the last one we did of these, and then some of them just come to me quite recently. I think they'd be quite interesting ideas to look at here. But if you go on to enjoy the video and do agree with some of these ideas, then be sure to hit that like button and let me know in the comments below any other ideas that you have that we've maybe not mentioned before in some videos. We've done about 3 of these videos before, so make sure maybe go back and check the other ones out and see maybe your idea might have already come up in an earlier kind of instance in there. But let's get into this then. So kind of 10 ideas for not just F1 2019 game, remember, just future F1 games. But of course, we're looking towards next year's game. Right now, as we speak, maybe Cody's are kind of in the middle of developing those ideas. You know, there were some things that are already set in stone, but some things still might be quite flexible and might be able to, you know, be changed or tweaked in some way. So let's get into that. So we're going to go for idea number 1. I think there needs to be way more small little sprint race championship scenarios and kind of little game modes that we can play on the side of career mode. I recently did that Hot Lap classic car series, basically, where I did the championships kind of game mode in F1 2018, and it was a really fun thing, actually. I really was surprised how much I enjoyed it, and then also how much you guys enjoyed watching it as well. And I think that's a really nice break. You know, there's plenty of guys in the comments below of those videos saying, yeah, I play that as well, you know, once the career mode gets a little bit kind of stale for me, personally. So it's like, you know, I think people would be interested in that. I think there needs to be more stuff, because in the championships mode, you have the option to do a full 2018 season, a kind of full classic car season, and then you have like 2 sprint mode scenarios where it's the qualifying one that I did, another sprint mode scenario where in the spec series, but then you have these long endurance ones where the races are 25% race, 50% race. I don't think many people are going to play those, but I think people would play a quick like 5-lap race, you know, 5 different 5-lap race little sprint series in like 1 hour or whatever, or 30 minutes, just, you know, if they have some time, you know, come home from school or work or whatever, they don't want to play career mode maybe because it's December, the hype for career modes maybe dropped off a little bit for them personally, for vanilla career mode, so they want to play something else. I think those kind of small little party game scenarios would be really fun, because I personally, I've always been career mode and pretty much nothing but. I didn't really think I would actually enjoy doing in those scenarios, but I got to fully admit, I did enjoy trying it for the first time, you know, driving in the Brawn GP car and trying 5 sprint mode rounds. Kudos for having that in. I just think they kind of need more of that, basically. Put more sprint scenarios in. Number 2, now this is going to come off the back of all of that. I think we need way more customization in a Grand Prix mode, or just also for online, the lobby settings, what you can do, because I think there's a lot of potential just to have fun little scenarios that you could do in the GP mode customization. Like, you know, give us the option to say, I want a reverse grid order from the last race's results. I want 2 times points. I want classic points. I want the grid to be reversed from what the championship order is like. I think all these things that were, you know, scenarios that are used in the championship modes, let us choose them and customize them to what I want. So if I want to set up a Grand Prix mode with some specific tracks and to do some like 5-lap races, let me choose the option in the game menu to do reverse grid from the previous race, or I want times 2 points for the top 10, or I want classic points like it used to be pre the whole 25 points for a win, the kind of way it used to be before that era of F1 points delegation, basically. And also the idea of doing, you know, reverse championship order as well. So the guy who's leading the championship has to start at the back. I think it's a really fun scenario to do. When the game gives it to you, let us actually have those options to then customize those and do them themselves, because I'd love to set up basically a similar sort of Hot Lap Classic sprint mode series that I did in 2 videos before, but I want to do it in my own way with some different tracks, maybe, you know, a different scenario or something like that. But the point is, just give us more customization. The more customization you give us for the options of the way we can play the game, the better, because then people are left to their own devices, imagination kicks in, and you just think of some wacky scenarios to play. And like I said, that can also be used online, so you can have some fun with your friends online and do, okay, get in like a lobby of like 3 of your mates or whatever, and we'll do a reverse championship grid maybe, or a reverse grid classic points with some AI also involved in the lobby maybe, and it'll be quite a fun little party game to play. Number 3, now this is where all the ideas start to come from, like the comment section of the last video we did of game ideas. So someone said, I want to be able to go to the start of the pit lane, the edge of the pit lane to start the session before it's actually gone green. So in like real life F1, in practice, in quali, the cars can be sent out early, before the green light's gone, and they can park up, ready to go out. So let's say it's starting to rain, and you want to get in a dry lap, as dry of a lap as you can do. You're going to send your car out early, park it up there, wait for the green to go, and then you can go. I think that's quite a cool kind of scenario in a way, if that was the case. Or you just want to send yourself out early in a session. I know online that might be something. Online, you know, for a league race, you might all be rushing to send your cars out before the green light goes, so you can all start qualifying. I think it'd be quite cool to see all the league races lined up in the pit lane, ready to get going for the qualifying, because they're all scrambling for space on track. But at the same time, that just kind of merges into an idea of just, I've said it before, having way more freedom in the pit lane, allow us to manually drive through. I know there's the case of, you know, people are going to muck about in it, but just simply put a setting there. If you want to have it, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. You can do automatic like it is right now. But for those people who do want to mess around a little bit in the pit lane, they're going to be sensible about it in league races. They're going to be, you know, they're going to obviously want to stick to the rules in career mode. Let people drive manually down the pit lane. I think it's just, you know, it's very frustrating when you do, you know, you have everywhere else you are in control of the car, but then as soon as you get to that line in the pit lane, it's robotic. You have no say in the matter. You know, that's where sometimes mistakes happen in Formula 1, you know, pit lane blunders or pit lane heroism, you know, overtakes in the pit lane. We've had it before sometimes where cars go side by side down the pit lane and they're trying to race a car because they've both been released at the same time almost. Let us have those moments where we're kind of giving the AI room maybe down the pit lane as we try and jostle for position, and then one of us has to let go of the throttle pedal to let one go if our team releases at the kind of perfect time, as it were. Number 4 was going to be meeting more AI personnel in the career mode scenarios, getting more cutscenes. So we have the PR agent, but there was this idea of, you know, meeting a strategist, meeting the team boss to discuss team goals, the strategist to talk over what went in the last race, you know, giving you ideas for the strategy. Maybe when you've got a new tyre upgrade, you can meet with a strategist then, and you can talk about, okay, so what this means is we can do this and this and this for the next race, basically. But basically just having more of a sense of there's actually more of a team around you, because at the moment, all you do is you meet your PR agent, you meet Claire, and you see your team boss in the cutscene for the when you win the race or get on a podium, but there's no really sense of actual team around you that you can talk to. You know, we know drivers talk to every single person basically in the team at some point in the weekend, be strategists, engineers, and even mechanics. They'll just say a hi or whatever, or hello in the garage or not. But let's just give us some little more scenarios. You know, it doesn't have to be major. It could just be a little tiny tidbit here and there, but just give you more immersion basically all around that it is a kind of big team game. It's not just 4 of you basically that's doing the entire thing. Number 5, now I think this is a very intriguing idea. I don't know how well it would be implemented, but basically like in Formula 1, you have engine manufacturers, and obviously we've seen when someone like Renault has an upgrade, it goes to the Works Renault team and also Red Bull and whoever else is running a Renault engine. Same with Mercedes, giving it to Williams and Force India. So have engine manufacturers actually mean a lot in the career mode for R&D. So let's say you give all the factory teams ×2 R&D on the engine side of things. So I think the best way you could do it is basically for the engine manufacturers, their engine upgrades are half the price, because I think it's unfair to give you 2 times the points, because that was the comment that one of you guys put, that you should give them 2 times the R&D points. I say make the engine department half the cost for engine manufacturer teams, so i.e. Renault Works team, Mercedes Works team, Ferrari Works team, because obviously they're going to have the resources to actually put into the engine. And then let's have a bit of actual, like it is in real life, you know, the customer teams have to purchase engines, so surely they're going to get the same upgrades the engine manufacturer gives. Because at the moment it is very odd, you know, I'm in the Red Bull Honda, it's very odd to see Toro Rosso have a better engine. The same thing for McLaren and Renault Works team as their AI teams. You know, we've seen McLaren have the best engine on the grid, but hang on, they have a Renault engine and yet they're miles ahead of the Renault Works team. It's interesting obviously for the team v team scenario that we kind of don't have it like real life, but I think it would be quite a cool concept to have an option maybe to have it like real life, where the engine manufacturers really kind of own where the engine is at, and it's on them to really upgrade, and you're kind of maybe waiting a little bit. Obviously, maybe they do a kind of half and half. You can upgrade your engine, but your upgrades are full price, whereas if the engine manufacturer makes an upgrade, the AI team makes an upgrade, you get the upgrade for free. So you can get a bit of a potluck situation where, oh, Ferrari have upgraded, me me, Sauber, we're going to get a free upgrade here, but I've also spent my own stuff, so we get a double whammy. It could be quite a cool scenario. I think that's an interesting way to look at how the R&D could work for the engine side of things. Number 6, have pre-season car launches and have a scenario in a cutscene where you're having PR questions about the car ahead, and maybe the PR person asks you about your team objectives and your personal objectives, and that might affect how your contract negotiations then go for the next year. It might also affect how much R&D you get. If you say, you know, the team is looking good, strong, we're really motivated to develop the car, I'm confident about this year's car, maybe gives a boost to the entire team, you get a bit of a tiny, 2% R&D bonus. If you say, I'm not too sure, it's going to be a difficult year ahead, the team doesn't get any bonus. If you slag the team off, if you wanted to get out the team basically or something like that, you're going to slag the team off, that'll be negative. So it's different ways you can look at it, but pre-season's always quite a big deal in terms of how the drivers are feeling before the season actually begins, and so this is quite a good idea by one of you guys in the comments to have those car launches, and also be a pretty cool cutscene to see like a whole room filled with journalists and you unveil the car, maybe from first person perspective, something like that, or just have like a nice little newsstand basically that has your kind of news article about the car launching, and then you have the kind of interviews for the rest of the season, but just basically adding more of a story to the entire season basically, and again making a bigger deal of the transition from season to season. Number 7 is going to be at contract negotiations, taking a little leaf out of FIFA. Can't we have some cutscenes for the negotiations like FIFA does? We sit there down at the desk with our agent, we talk to the team boss there, and basically we have to have a bit of a conversation and debate, and basically like the interviews, you have timed questions about what you want as contract perks, and you go back and forth, and just like FIFA basically, you have animations of, the team boss disagrees with you, wants to go back, you guys are going to go back and forth, record audio even as well. I mean, obviously I don't know, the budget for F1's going to be less than FIFA, so they maybe can't do so many scenarios like FIFA does for the contract negotiations, but it would be really cool to have a cutscene like that where you're debating even maybe salary, and then you link that into, again, like I've said it so many times, but give us an in-game salary and then just give us helmets that are behind in-game kind of paywall basically, so you have to spend your in-game salary on those helmets, so it gives you an incentive to actually negotiate a good contract, because at the moment it's just perks, but it would be kind of cool to actually, like in real life, go for the big money play maybe if you're that good of a driver, and then you can spend it on some helmets, some new gloves, whatever, or I don't know, just give us some more customization options to actually spend on, but that's linked into having this whole kind of more immersive cutscene idea for contract negotiations like FIFA does. Number 8, this has been something that's come up in every comment section, but I've never really mentioned it ever because I don't know if it's ever going to be a possibility that they're looking at, but number 8, VR support. I mean, just a small thing of having VR in the game would be very, very cool. I've played VR, obviously, on other racing games in F1 cars. It's a very cool experience, I can tell you that. It's so surreal. The sense of speed is insanely awesome to have. It's such a pleasurable experience. To be honest, if VR was available in the Codemasters F1 games, I might well play VR all the time in the Cody's games, because VR is that cool and immersive. I don't know, maybe for videos it'd be maybe kind of tiresome after a while, but it is a very cool experience, and so I think they need to bring it eventually, because I know it's a small market. There's a minority that owns VR headsets compared to the majority of casual players that buy the game, out of the, whatever, that 600k, 1,000 copies that get sold, maybe only a good maybe 10,000 or so own VR headsets, but it would be a really cool experience. And I think for in terms of marketing the F1 game, in terms of, in terms of YouTube creators' videos, but also just marketing for adverts and stuff, having VR in your game would be such a cool thing, because that's an experience, and that is something you go out and then buy the F1 game just to play the VR mode. Number 9, this is a cool idea, kind of nicking it a little bit from Project Cars, I think, but like an in-game social media system where, after races, pre-races, you have little social media tidbits on the side that give you a bit more context. Maybe if a team kind of upgrades, and they can put it on their social media, we've got an upgrade to the engine department, and so that kind of feeds into having more data basically. So we don't really know sometimes what teams upgrade on. It'd be easy maybe to see on a social media feed what they've upgraded on, and it gives you a little bit of background story to each Grand Prix basically. And just like Project Cars, maybe you can build up your following, your fan base, and that might affect, I don't know, your contract perks. Maybe if you're, a very well respected, actually, you know what, that could really build into the rookie to veteran scenario, because then as you go from rookie to veteran, your social media followers could go up and up and up, and so by the time you end your career, you're on like a 3.2 million followers social media Wikipedia page in the game, and you're a true veteran, you know, and so I think it could build in quite nicely and just give some context to everything. And finally, number 10, R&D, the ability for an R&D upgrade to make your car go backwards and be a negative to your car. We've seen it this year, McLaren, their car fundamentally broken, and some of the upgrades they were bringing weren't doing them any justice. Ferrari, so one of the most famous USA, Ferrari admitted they'd taken off upgrades because their upgrades were holding them back, and they went back to like a German Grand Prix spec of the car, and it was faster. I think it'd be very cool to be able to have R&D upgrades that actually bring the team backwards by mistake. Obviously have it very rare, because it'll be very frustrating. You're spending so much time playing the game and things are going backwards for you. So have it be a rarity, but on occasion an upgrade might go backwards, and then the next race you have an option to remove it basically and revert to an older spec of the car. And so in the R&D tree, let's say you're three upgrades into the, let's say, aero department. You buy the fourth upgrade, it makes you go backwards. So the next race you revert that, and it unassigns itself, so you can rebuy the fourth upgrade on the tree, but now you have a better chance of it being a good upgrade. But that kind of first time it was a bad upgrade, and then basically you revert back, you get that slot back from the R&D tree. Obviously you don't get the points back, but you get the slot back from the R&D tree, and you can repurchase it and have a better chance of having it be a good one. I think it'd be a really cool scenario. It would be very frustrating, I will admit, if it happens to you, but if it happens only maybe, let's say, once every 3-4 seasons, I think it'd be a really cool scenario. It really puts the challenge to the player, because a lot of the time it's the same thing with the same mantra of, at the moment, the AI don't upgrade fast enough compared to their player. I think Cody just need to make it a little bit harder. Right now, they're trying to find a perfect balance of it. 2016 was way too easy. 2017 was too difficult with how slow it was. It was like a bloody snail in 2017 upgrading a car. They're trying to find a middle ground. I think they're near to that. They just need to tweak it a little bit towards the harder end. Just, you know, give us a few less R&D points maybe, and then add in a few of these little quirks, like, you know, bad R&D, and then obviously, like I've said many times before, give the player unreliability. Please just have the option of going, you either want it on or off. I want engine failures randomly in my career, or no, I don't. I'm a casual player, I don't. Same thing with this. You can have it on and off. I want random R&D failures that make me go backwards, or no, I don't want any of that. Every upgrade I do wants to make me go forward. So if you do want that real life scenario of sometimes upgrades, you know, engineering, it's not always perfect. Sometimes things go wrong, a la McLaren, a la Ferrari's upgrades, and the engineers have to go back and run the numbers and do something different. And so I think it'd be really cool, once every 3 seasons, have that option. R&D upgrade makes you go backwards instead of forwards. That's really spicy. But there we have it, guys. That's been 10 other ideas here for F1 2019 and future F1 games. If you did enjoy those ideas, then be sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below about any of those. If you want to try and expand on any of those ideas, and like I said, let me know any other additional ideas you guys had in the comments below, and we'll try and make another video maybe if there's enough of them. And if you are new around here, you can subscribe for weekly F1 content. I've been aarava. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.